What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source for combat sports. I'm your host, Al, the Postmaster Morrow. Today, I have a gear review on the Hit and Move Professional Boxing Fight Gloves. Alright folks, as always, I'm incredibly excited to bring you yet another gear review, as today we have a debut to the channel. We have our first pair of professional fight gloves as far as boxing goes, the Hit and Move Professional Fight Gloves right in front of me, which is something that probably had a few of you tilting your heads to, because you know, if you've been watching the channel for a while, that I do not collect fight gloves as far as boxing goes. MMA fight gloves are completely different from boxing fight gloves, and that MMA fight gloves are a lot easier to train in because you can grapple instead of just strike, whereas in boxing you're just striking in these. Most of the time professional fight gloves in boxing are very lightweight, anywhere from 8 to 10 ounces, at least in the United States that I know of. I think other countries might go up to 12 ounces or go as low as 6 ounces. But basically, when it comes to professional fight gloves, if you are 147 in boxing and below, you use 8-ounce fight gloves. If you are 150 and above, you are using 10-ounce fight gloves, or some heavyweights I know use 10XL, which doesn't add any more weight to the glove, just makes it bigger. The reason why I don't collect fight gloves, guys, is because they're built for that. The name is in the glove themselves. It is a fight glove. It's meant to fight in. Most of the time on amateurs, we were told to train in amateur fight gloves for the week of our tournament or our bout. That way we could get our hands acclimated to it. But an amateur fight glove is night and day difference from a professional fight glove. An amateur fight glove is actually a lot more padded than some sparring gloves out there that I've seen, honestly. And most of the time in amateurs, it goes from 10 to 12 ounce, not 8 to 10. The other thing with professional fight gloves is they're really designed for upwards of 12 rounds. That's about it. Then after that, the padding and everything else start to go kapuff, basically. The reason why is because they're really only there to protect your hands for that amount of time. Obviously, other guys use fight gloves for a while, just to train bags and mitts with, but you'll never see people spar in these gloves because the padding is just non-existent compared to, say, a 16-ounce sparring glove. That's why most boxers are very picky about the gloves, when they're using it, what they're using it for, and what brand it is, because they're designed for specific things. But you see professional fighters use lighter gloves for bag work and mitt work because a heavier glove is going to burn their shoulders out more, and there's no point in it when they're going to fight in something that's 8 or 10 ounces. The only reason why people wear a bigger sparring glove is to protect their partner and to protect their hands so they can spar longer. If you're sparring in fight gloves like this all the time, some people are going to drop quite quickly. So really all you have is a bunch of leather, a small amount of padding compared to a training glove, and you have your hand wrap underneath the glove that is supposed to keep your hand protected. So fight gloves, if you actually look at them, I'm sorry the whole explanation here, but if you look at them, guys, it actually has like stamps at the bottom of them. Some gloves do, and they'll sign them off from the commission. The commission will sign them off saying these gloves were used for this amount of rounds. They can only be used for training from then on out. You cannot reuse them like amateur fight gloves. Amateur fight gloves, that happens all the time. You see multiple. So that's usually what goes on there. So the only reason why I'm doing Hit and Move's fight gloves is because I've reviewed a bunch of their products before. I'm a huge fan of Hit and Move. I bought everything and they liked my reviews, and they reached out to me. His name's Ozzy, and he said, hey, we really like your review of our old gloves, or of our other gloves, which I think are phenomenal training gloves. I love the innovations that they're doing, and they said, we really think you'd like these. I warned them, I don't collect these. Usually they're only meant for about 12-15 rounds. You warm up in them, you go fight in them, they're done, the gloves are done. And he said, not these are different. These are designed so you can fight in them and still train in them afterwards. And I was really excited for that. I said, of course, Ozzy's out there making more advancements with this. So here is my disclaimer now. Yes, these were sent to me. I did not pay for these, but I will give you 100% honesty, because guys, it is your money, health, and everything else on the line here. I would not steer you the wrong way, and that's for my integrity and the company's integrity as well. I also like to tell companies what they can do to make gloves better, or correct some things, or maybe what I would do different. So I never steer you the wrong way, okay? So with that said, guys, these are the professional fight gloves by Hit and Move, and the exact model I have are a 10-ounce version, because I am bigger, so I will use a 10-ounce. I am a heavyweight. I weigh about 240 pounds, so obviously 8 ounces is too small for me. But this is a 10-ounce glove. All gloves are lace up, because all professional fight gloves are lace up. Some amateur fight gloves are Velcro instead of lace up. Not in the case of a professional fight glove. They are all laces. And once again, I have the white and gold colorway. You can get them in blue and red. You can get them in black and red. You can also get them in, I believe it is white and blue. I'll post the pictures across the screen so you can see exactly what they are. And they also come in 8 ounces, just like most US fight gloves will be. Like I said, they are all lace ups. I wish the laces were a little longer, but that's more of a design thing. But going into the actual look of the glove, once again, we got the whole white punching surface on the back here all the way to the thumb, except for the Hit and Move logo, which to me still looks like a cool Transformer samurai, which I don't know why that goes through my head. I guess that's because I'm special. But when I keep looking down here, it says Hit and Move, all in that nice, really shiny, like royal gold. And then once again on the thumb, we have that little split seam going down the thumb until we get to the palm here, which is all gold, except for the logos here at the bottom and around the grip bar, which says 10 ounces. You can see right there. The gold on the palm is definitely that like royal type gold, and I like how that's in there. You got the white thumb piping here, as well as the white palm piping and white laces. It also says at the bottom here, it says genuine leather, basically telling you that this is made of real leather, and it says designed in the USA. They are not made in the USA. I actually don't know where they are made, to be honest with you. And then we have Hit and Move, another logo right there, and I like that. But the whole rest of the glove is white, and we also have the 10-ounce stamp telling you exactly what size it is. Once again, everything about the glove as far as design goes, it is a lace-up closure. There is no Velcro closure. But when we talk about more of the design, we have a leather, very top quality leather here on the outside. It's very soft leather, and kind of a couple brands that do this, which I really like. It feels nice on my hands, and it's nice and comfortable. Not only is it a soft and supple leather, but I think Hit and Move and Bryant Boxing are really the only brands out there that I know that do this really well. And it feels like there's padding on the inside of the leather itself. It's like they put foam on the leather as they stretched it over, which was really nice. And it's very soft, supple leather, so I like that. And not only is it a soft, supple leather, but you also have that nice soft dart padding that they use in their training gloves as well. I can tell that it's modified a little bit because it is a fight glove, and you definitely want to have good recoil, good pop when you punch in a fight too, because you don't want something too puffy, because then at that point you're protecting your opponent just as much as you are yourself. That's why if I were to fight professionally, I know I have used professional Reyes gloves before. That's probably what I would use. I like puncher's gloves. So that's why I like training in Reyes training gloves so much, because they are very comfy, and other gloves along those lines. These use more of a foam composition. There is no horsehair in that I can feel. Anyway, there's no horsehair in it. Horsehair, you can bat it away from the knuckles and you can start smashing away. In these, that is not the case. Let me refocus that, sorry. But that's what you have within the padding of the glove, is all that dart padding, which is a composition of a bunch of different foams that are designed to cradle your knuckle and recoil off, so you have a nice puncher's feel at the same time. You also have the thumb here, which you can tell was detached, so you can have better mobility, so it was attached separately. And then you also have the split seam here, and I assume that's because most models probably start out blank before they color the leather. So I imagine this would be a split color seam going on here, but it is all white, but it still has that split design because every glove would be designed the same. You also see that wrist cuff split right at the bottom, right where your wrist should be. So you, with a fight glove, usually you would like pinch it kind of a little high, and then that's why some fights you see the tape right up really high. You don't have to do that with these because the wrist is nice and snug in a good spot. The thumb feels like it's of the same material as the dart padding on the inside here. Whereas on the back, you still have a pretty soft, high-density foam, which is really nice, and it's nice and soft and padded. So if you're getting hit on the side of the glove, you're still getting your wrist nice and supported, which is always good. And then on the palm, you have your standard EVA foam, which is like a rubberized patch type feel on the inside here to protect the inside of your hands as well. All the stitching is gold, and it is a double stitch, so it's nice and machine welted right there, or machine welded, nice and machine stitched right there, which is double stitch, which is really secure. None of the stitches have frayed, which I wouldn't think any of them would. And then you also have a bit of a welted seam, a little bit kind of coming off. It's like the back of the hide right here of the piping as well. But the stitching's very good. It's a very good light glove, although it is 10 ounces. It is very well balanced right in the center. Oh, my bad. Right in the center here. Okay, I'll lay my hand flat. Right in the center here, you can see. If I try and tilt it one way too much, it'll slide off. Obviously, if I tilt it the other way, it'll slide off the other way, just to show you that I'm being perfectly balanced right here, and it's not falling over. If I use 2 fingers, it's still not going to fall over all that much. So it's a very balanced glove, and that's why it's called the dart padding. His idea was if you can throw it straight, that's your shoulder going straight, that's your arm going straight without being too heavy and going down. That's the whole idea behind the dart padding, and it's a very nice idea. It's something that I think is very creative. The glove is actually pretty, I wouldn't say small, but it is definitely more compact and sleek in figure, so you can definitely use these to reach around your opponent's guard really well. The interior lining, let me loosen up the laces real quick. The interior lining has like a bluish black tint to it, and it is a nice moisture wicking material, and it almost resembles winning in a lot of ways, and it feels really comfortable. There's a ton of room on the inside for your fight wrap, which is good, and boxers love to put endless stacks of gauze over top. However, most commissions say you can only use 1 roll of tape for both hands, and then you can use, I think, upwards of 2 rolls of gauze per hand. I'd like to say is usually, I think that's New York's rule anyway, but it's plenty of room. The laces are good enough size for a fight glove compared to a training glove, because training gloves, sometimes people will tie them and just tape them. In boxing and professional bout, that's exactly what's going to happen. So the laces don't have to be too long. You know, you tie them at the bottom, you tie them over, and then you tie it tight, and then you're set, and all you got to do is just tape it around and you're set to go. If you like to fight in gloves that have open hands, it's very good, easy to parry. It's also good for Thai boxing because of how open it is. The thumb is in a very comfortable contoured position, and the knuckles, I can't feel them at all. So it's definitely a nice protected glove right here. But when I punch, I definitely feel that nice recoil going in and out of the bag. So whenever I'm punching a bag, or whenever I'm hitting mitts with these gloves, which I love hitting the bag and mitts with these now, it is very comfortable. There's tons of room for me to move around. It's nice and soft and comfy. If you don't like your glove overheating, you have a couple breathe holes going throughout here, through the top of the hand and the thumb, which is really good if you don't like that. However, I'm telling you, if you just wear hand wraps, trust me, it's the inside of the glove getting hot. I think it's just a minute complaint. I think you can get over that much. But that's just me. But overall, it hugs to my wrist really well. My wrist rests right where that split is, right at the top here. And that feels really good, and it's nice. There's nothing too bulky about the glove at all, nothing too heavy about the glove. It's very balanced. The one thing I will say is that if you need a bigger glove to defend yourself, maybe these won't be it. But I mean, for me, I usually like keeping my hands here, if not out a little bit like that, so I can see perfectly outside of them. I can see over the glove a little bit, I can see through the glove a little bit, which is, it was a perfect size for me. Like I said, it's a little bit more sleek and contour, so when I'm slipping over hands, it works really well actually. So in general, they are very comfortable. They're very high quality so far. Let's go into the bag work and the model view so you can see exactly how these gloves are in action. So the first thing you're going to notice with these gloves is just how light they are. Even for a 10-ounce glove, it just feels like there's nothing on my hand, but the amount of protection you get from these is out of this world. It's also great for grips, so if you're using these for like big glove MMA sparring, some people do, you definitely get good Muay Thai grips. But I mean, the way my knuckles sink into the bag feels really good. It feels natural for my hands, and it also guides my hand in a really nice natural fist. I don't feel like I have to squeeze too hard. It's very comfortable on the back of my hands. It feels good in my palm. Everything about it is just comfortable when I punch, and I can really like hit the bag as hard as I want. And I think a lot of people, especially when they fight, worry about that because you can't wrap your hands quite as much, and the padding is not nearly as much as a regular training glove. So overall, these gloves are very protective. Has a very nice puncher's slash pillow feel. Very nice gloves. So obviously I have my lace and loops there, but you can see the big gold hit and move logo, which looks very sharp. These gloves in general, white and gold for me, I always think about royalty, like really nice holy type royalty, and it looks really nice, and I think you're going to look awesome and sharp with these gloves on. The details are very exceptional. Overall, they are somewhat basic to a certain extent, but I can tell you right now, you will look sharp with the white and gold colorway. Everyone loves white and gold. Alright folks, my final verdict on the Hit and Move professional fight gloves is I'm just blown away by these, because everything by Hit and Move, I swear, they just keep making more and more innovations, and I've never really just extensively used fight gloves. I want to try to get into collecting fight gloves. I don't really do that too much because reviewing them would almost be pointless, because after a few things of bag work, most of the fight gloves are going to go kapoof. The only thing about that is that technology keeps getting better and better and better, so you can always rely on more foams being more durable compared to a lot of horsehair gloves. Horsehair is actually starting to kind of get, in my opinion, getting pushed out of the professional boxing field, moving strictly to foam to protect hands and protect faces at the same time, and brain damage and all those things. These gloves, I think, are incredible because for me, they feel like a 10-ounce of one of their training gloves, and which is awesome. So it protects your hands really well. So if you have hand problems, it's definitely a glove that I would recommend to you. It's also nice if you're a puncher too, because I definitely get a nice recoil off these. I also feel every shot sinking into the bag, into the mitts. The other thing which some people might look at me weird, I have sparred in these, and the reason why I have sparred in these is because I am a professional MMA fighter, and we use bigger gloves to spar in sometimes, but sometimes we use, not everybody, most of the time I use 16-ounce gloves to spar in, but sometimes I'll use these just to have that lighter feel. Instead of using the big puffy MMA gloves, I'll use these, and they work really well because I can get good grips with these. I can actually wrestle really well with these, and I get awesome clinch work with these. But overall, obviously, boxers will not spar with these. I have a few times I choose to spar with 16-ounce gloves just for habit, but this is for sure something maybe an MMA fighter would consider sparring in because it is padded enough to do so. So I can definitely see you using these in a fight with a professional hand wrap, which I have wrapped my own hands to do so, just so I could get the idea of how it feels. And I was able to wrap my hands pretty thick with these with gauze and tape, and actually see how they feel on the inside of the glove. And it feels perfect. I can move perfectly. The gauze don't slip, the tape don't slip on the inside, doesn't stick, nothing like that. Obviously, if you wrap your hands right, that shouldn't happen anyway. But the laces feel really comfortable. There's tons of room on the inside for that. I would say that compared to some other fight gloves I've used, it's not the biggest hand compartment size, but it is bigger than some. So definitely, if you wrap your hands and it's like that, and say I like to fold mine once, some people like to fold it 3 times. So it makes it look like there's a big heavy bar on the inside of your knuckles. I don't know if that would fit all that well. I didn't try that. That might be just a bit too pointed towards the end. Gloves like Grant and stuff tend to have the most space, for your knuckles, because Elvis Grant focuses on protecting your hands. These, I don't think you need too much because the padding is perfect. It cradles my knuckles. I can feel it actually cradling my knuckles when I punch, which is a really nice, comforting feeling. I like that a lot. I like how durable they are. They still smell like brand new shoe leather, and I've had them for about 2.5, 3 months now, and they just feel really nice. I also love how well balanced they are. So when I punch the bags, it is really just, I can keep going and going and going with these. They're also so light, even for a 10-ounce glove, they're so light and so well balanced that when I punch forward, I can just, my shoulders never get too tired, my arms don't get too tired. It's more everything else gets tired first, which is always what you want with a good glove. You don't want something that's so bulky and heavy that's going to weigh you down, even for a fight glove or a bag mitt, guys. And this is where that glove does really well. Would I change anything about it? Honestly, and this might be where I fall short in the interview, which I apologize for that, is that I don't train in a whole lot of fight gloves as far as boxing goes. So if I had to tell you out of the fight gloves that I have used, I've used the Everlast Elites before. I've used Everlast MX before. The Rival Guerreros were really nice, and I've used a pair of Reyes fight gloves. But by far, I definitely say these are my favorite fight gloves so far, just because I think they'd work for everybody. You know, if you have bad hands, these gloves would work for you. If you like to punch, these gloves would work for you. Now, obviously, if you like your horsehair, classic horsehair glove like the Everlast MX and stuff like that, yeah, you know, the padding's non-existent in those. You're basically hitting with your, you know, your gauze and tape in your hand. That's it. Whereas these have that nice foam composition, the nice dart padding. It's a very well balanced glove. It is not big compared to a lot of other gloves, fight gloves out there. It is perfectly slender. So if you like to slip behind the guard a lot, which I do, I love punching the ear. That is something that I do a lot. So I'm constantly slipping behind the guard, especially with these because of how compact these gloves are and how sleek and slender the design is. But overall, I mean, if you had to ask me to give it a rating, I think it's the best fight glove I've ever used. And that's the thing, almost why I told him, I don't know if I want you to send me this because I'm going to sound so biased. No, it's just Hit and Move continues to become probably one of my favorite brands out there, and I used their training gloves for this fight camp for my professional fight coming up. I've used really only 2 gloves that are really tied for #1 so far, and that's Hit and Move and Brian Boxing. And I switch between those guys like every other day, you know, and Hit and Move just continues to get better and better and better, and I love that about these gloves. But overall, I have to give these gloves a solid 10 out of 10, folks. I think they're comfortable. I think they're very compact for most people. I think they're going to protect your hands. I think they're going to protect you, which is the most important part. I think there's just enough padding on there to not only protect your hands, but to deal some damage to your opponent as well. Granted, I have never had a professional boxing match. I have over 70 amateur boxing matches, though. You know, I wish I could box in something like these in the amateurs. These are absolutely awesome. I love these. They're more padded than the 12-ounce, big, heavy, bulky Everlast that just sucked, you know, and that just felt like crap that I always competed in. These, I wish Hit and Move was around when I was competing in amateur boxing. I love training in these. I love hitting the bag in these. I think you're going to love hitting the bags and mitts with these. It's very good, especially always recommended. USA Boxing would always recommend to us that you would train in the gloves you're going to compete in for about a week before, and most pros do that. Like I said, if you're an MMA guy, you might want to spar in these and try them out. I still recommend doing, you know, more according to your weight for more padding, but I mean, for a 10-ounce glove, the padding's really good in these, and I've used these. That's the other amazing part. They're not kidding that you can use these after your fight, because I've had them, like I said, for over 2.5 to 3 months. I'm using these on the bag constantly, and nothing's changed about them, which is really, really good. So if you ever fight in these, you can use them afterwards, but they're also good to train in as well. And I really, really like these gloves. So they did a phenomenal job. I'm not surprised that Hit and Move knocked it out of the park again. You know, Ozzy's going to keep making advancements and stuff towards his product, and I'm excited to keep trying more and more of his products. I still got to buy his mitts. I still got to buy, I want those gold gloves that he has. I like gold. That's one of my favorite colors. And the reflex trainer, I don't know why I haven't got that. I wish I was made of money. I'd buy everything that I could. But with that said, guys, that has been the review on the Hit and Move all day. Well, they're not all day. That's their other model, but their Hit and Move professional fight glove, and you know, I can still use them all day, so I'm gonna call them the all-day fight glove. No, I'm just kidding. But these gloves were awesome. I think if you're a professional boxer and you want something that has everything in one, this is your go-to. And for the price, by the way, I didn't really mention the price. It's about, I believe, $230, which is I think it goes anywhere from $229 to $240, depending on the size and colorway that you get, which is actually a really well-priced fight glove that will last so long. I think the reason why it's a bit more expensive is because it's going to last you. I mean, I would honestly say you'd be able to use this in one fight to another because of how good it is. But obviously, commissions won't ever allow that. I have never honestly seen that happen unless it was amateurs. But that's just me. But overall, these gloves were really a pleasure to use. I'm going to continue to use them on the bags and mitts. They have become a fan favorite staple of mine so far. So Ozzy, thank you for sending these to me. You know, I'm not shocked, my brother. They're awesome. You know, and I'm sorry if I came off like I was biased, guys, but I'm telling you, if you haven't tried Hit and Move yet, they're, like I said, they're becoming my favorite training glove, period, for a reason, you know. and these stand the test of time with that. All right, guys, without further ado, thanks so much for watching your source for combat sports, the Combat Corporation. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I post content daily for the most part, and I respond. I see all your messages. I see all your comments. Please comment below. Let me know anything that you want me to review in the future. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this product here, please let me know. I'll also post a link in the description below where you can get a hold of the Hit and Move professional boxing fight gloves. But with that said, guys, thanks so much for watching. 5.15 subscribers already, which is amazing. I can't 5.15K. I can't believe that we're already there. You know, that's crazy. Just within a week of hitting 5,000 subscribers, we got that far. So thank you so much. I couldn't do this without you. All right, guys. With that said, thank you so much for watching yet again. I'll see you on the next episode. Have a good one.